welcome to another episode of Easy Does It, where we react and review YouTube channels and sometimes do daily vlogs or gaming vlogs. Today we're going to look at a channel called Junkyard Cinema. Now, he's from the U.S. He's been on YouTube since May of 25. He basically just does list of particular movies and stuff. From what I could tell, he's mainly just done horror flicks, a list of horror flicks. We're going to take a look at one of his latest videos called 10 Insane 80s B-Movies That Shouldn't Exist. And, you know, I'm a Gen X. I grew up on the 80s flicks, so we're going to see if he's right on some of these. Check him out.
Movies are so badly made you almost respect them for existing. Now imagine 10 of those, all from the 80s, and each one somehow worse, weirder, or more illegal feeling than the last. We've got sex comedies disguised as burger ads, alien slugs made from chewed up latex, and entire movies stitched together from completely different films because the director ran out of money halfway through. These aren't just B movies, these are Z-grade miracles. They shouldn't exist, but they do.
Z-grade
and honestly,
miracles?
I'm kind of glad they do.
Okay.
Let's dive into 10 of the most insane, confusing, face-melting 80s B movies that somehow made it out alive.
I can't stand most of the horror movies made
This
today.
one's basically Police Academy, but with fast food and
most
way more
of the
meat
movies.
jokes. The story follows a
I never
sex-crazed
watched
college
that
dropout who
movie,
enrolls
but
in Buster
I
Burger
know
University,
about it.
which is apparently a place where you train
It
to
was
work in a
basically
burger chain by
based
doing
off of
military
a
drills and food fights. No, it doesn't
video
make sense.
game called
That's not the
Hamburger.
point. It was directed by Mike Marvin, the same guy who gave us Hot Dog the movie, and produced by Crown International,
there was a
who were
video
basically the
game
kings
called
of
Hot
cheap
Dog
sex
too.
comedies back then.
Same concept.
It was
A
clearly made on a
restaurant
shoestring budget, probably under $2 million,
Kinda like
and didn't
the
go
old
anywhere
Donkey
in theaters.
Kong.
Box
You had
office
to make
numbers are
burgers
basically
or
lost to
whatever
time. But let's
try
just
to
say
not get
no
hit
one
by
was
the
lining up. What did happen, though, is that the
ingredients of the
title and
burgers
cover
and
art, a burger with
blah, blah,
legs,
blah.
popped on VHS shelves, and that's
But
how
like
it
I said,
became
I
a
never
cult
watched
thing.
this one.
Charles Tyner's in it too.
This
the guy
just
from Cool Hand
doesn't
Luke.
have horror
And
flicks
here,
in
he's
his
screaming
list.
at kids about burger boot
That's a
camp.
comedy.
It all
That's
ends
not
with a
a
massive food
horror
fight set to
flick.
stock music, and the whole thing feels like one long sketch that should have stopped at 3 minutes. Next up, Spookies. This one's a total
I
disaster.
haven't watched that one,
most
but I
entertaining
plan on
way
getting
possible.
around to it for my other channel.
Here's the
to
backstory.
review.
It started as a movie called Twisted Souls, directed by Brendan Faulkner and Thomas Doran.
So
Then the money ran out.
Eventually,
The guy who financed it took
watch
over,
that movie
hired a new
and
director,
review it on my
Eugenie
other
Joseph,
channel.
and told her to shoot
But
completely
I
new
do
scenes
remember.
with
I
different
do know
actors
of that
and just
movie.
glue them onto the original
I've
movie.
never seen it.
The final cut is a mess. You've got teenagers wandering through a haunted mansion, sure. But suddenly there's mud monsters that fart, a glowing witch, a cat-faced guy with Freddy Krueger gloves, and demons that show up for no reason. Half the characters are literally from another movie. The actors don't even know what's happening, and neither do you.
Okay.
It was made for around $300,000 and didn't even crack 100 in theaters. But somehow it caught fire on bootleg
It still looks
VHS
like my kind
in the
of movie.
90s. By the 2000s,
I like the
people
old
were memeing it online,
80s
and eventually
cheesy
Vinegar
movies.
Syndrome gave it a full 4K restoration.
Especially the
The original directors hated what it
cheesy
became,
horror flick.
but now they go to fan screenings and just laugh about it. They've called it the most expensive student film ever made by accident. And yeah, that's accurate.
Okay.
This one's about a kid who gets mutated by toxic waste and starts ripping people apart in a tiny Idaho town. You've got victims melting, exploding, or getting half digested. The movie opens with a radioactive kid murder and ends with a gross alien egg sac birthing scene that feels like it wandered in from extra.
I don't know this movie. I've never
It was
seen
shot by
it.
Jackie
Never
Cole,
heard of it.
one of the only Asian American women
That's
making
weird.
horror films in the
I
80s.
usually have heard of
And the
all of
production
them.
was chaos. Funded by local investors in Idaho,
Interesting.
no permits, shooting on the fly. One stunt
So
guy
he's
even
found
quit
one
because
I've
they
never
sprayed
heard
him
of
with
or
real
seen.
pig guts. Somehow they got Jose Ferrer and Ruth Buzzy in the cast, but it didn't help much. The movie had a regional release under names like Easter Sunday and the Pottsville Horror, and pulled in less than $1 million total.
That was probably
But over time, people
really
started embracing it. Kong calls it a mutant art film now, and fans see it as the warm-up act for her later cult favorite, Blood Diner. The whole thing is famous for its weird editing, abrupt tone shifts, and monster effects that look like someone chewed up a latex glove and nuked it in the microwave.
Okay.
This one is a French-Turkish action flick that feels like someone mixed a bad
French-Turkish,
80s soap opera with a knockoff
That's
Rambo.
why I've never heard of it.
It's about a diamond smuggler whose sister gets killed, so he hires a sex worker to get plastic surgery to look like her. And then they keep playing the sibling thing completely straight. It's a lot. The director, Jean-Marie Palardy, had mostly made softcore adult films before this. Somehow he got funding from what was reportedly arms dealer money. Locations were apparently arranged through real black market connections.
I'm not a big
and the
fan
diamond
of
mine
a
in the
lot
movie,
of foreign films.
that was an actual working mine.
There's a lot of Italian knockoffs,
Fred
though,
Williamson's in
that
it,
I
playing
don't mind.
a grizzled
They're a little
sidekick
bit
who
cheesy,
feels like he's reading lines from a different
but
script
they're all
entirely.
right.
The soundtrack, though, is honestly kind of fire. British
This
synth
is
band
probably not a
Limelight did the
movie I'd
score,
watch
and it's
anyway.
kind of catchy in a good way. It never got a proper US release, but it blew up on the midnight circuit and became a cult classic through bootlegs. Even Tarantino's talked about it, calling it insane and wrong in all the right ways. And yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You say so.
This one is about a suburban family who gets a new satellite dish.
Now, I've seen
and instead
this
of tuning
movie,
into
and
Jeopardy,
I'm telling you
they
right
beam in
now,
a giant alien monster. That thing eats them,
one of the
pretends to be
dumbest
them,
fucking
and goes hunting for more people.
movies
And that's the whole movie.
ever.
It's a full-on parody
I
of
like
TV
cheese.
culture, creature features, and Reagan-era suburbia. The color palette
I don't
is
mind
wild.
cheesy
Hot
movies,
pinks,
but
greens,
that
everything's
movie
neon,
was
and every performance is turned up
retarded.
to 11 on purpose.
Straight
It's
up.
ridiculous, and it knows it.
Don't waste your 2
They
hours
made it for about
watching that stupid fucking
$800,000,
shit.
shot the whole
It
thing at
was
Empire
dumb.
Pictures, and did all the effects practically. Puppets, slime rigs, stop motion. The monster
The only
looks
reason
like
I know
someone
this
melted
because I
a garbage can full
did a
of rubber
review on it
toys
for
and
my
gave
other
it
channel,
eyes.
and it was just so dumb.
It was supposed to hit theaters big, but Empire bailed at the last second. It only got a tiny theatrical run in a few cities before they dumped
Boy,
it to
I wonder
VHS.
why.
It made under $320,000
Boy, I
total,
wonder
barely
why.
anything. But that tape went everywhere. Rentals, late-night cable, word of mouth, so it got its cult status after all. Later directors like
No, it
James
didn't
Gunn
get no
have
cult
praised
status.
it as one
Nobody
of the
knows
best
about
examples
it.
of intentional camp done
I'm telling
right.
you, that was
And fun fact,
one of the
monster
dumbest
was
movies.
partly built using FX leftovers from Ghoulies.
Nobody liked it.
This one's a hidden gem for monster
The
fans.
Kindred,
The
huh?
story starts with a scientist who finds out his dead
I've
mom
heard
had
of
a
this
secret
movie. I
experiment.
just never.
A
I don't
mutated,
think I've ever
half-human,
watched it.
half-sea creature son locked in a tank. Naturally, the tank brother escapes and starts going full monster mode on a group of scientists. The kills are wet, gross, and creatively nasty. There's tentacles,
Oh, I know who
sticky
she
transformations, and a totally deranged birthing scene that
She's
looks like
hot,
Alien
too.
meets a biology
Or she
class
was.
horror film. They made it independently for $2.5 million,
can't think of-
and most of that
I
went
know
straight
I've seen
into the
her in
creature
other
effects.
films.
It shows. It's all
I can't think of
animatronics,
who she
rubber
is,
suits, old school practical work, and it holds up shockingly well.
But yeah, I like
But the movie
her.
got
She's
buried.
a good actress.
No real wide release. Distribution was a mess, and parts of the original negative were
Kind of
missing.
surprised she was
For
in
years, it only
You know,
existed as sketchy
a lot of
bootlegs
times
or
you
grainy
watch these
TV rips.
old ass B movies and shit,
It
and
finally
then
got
you
a
see
proper 4K restoration and an official
you see
release
some
in
stars in
2021.
them, and you're
And
like,
since
what
then,
the fuck?
effects
They
artists and
actually
horror
was in
fans
this
have been bringing it back
dumbass
into the
shit.
conversation. It's one of those flicks that deserved way more love than it got.
Oh no, I may watch that one. At some
This
point.
one goes by two names, Hospital Massacre or X-Ray. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. It opens with a Valentine's Day murder by this super creepy kid, and then skips ahead to years later. Barbie Benton, the former Playboy model, plays a woman who goes to the hospital for test results and ends up locked inside with a bunch of dead bodies and masked doctors, and one of them is clearly a killer. This was produced by Golan and Globus, the Canon Films guys, and directed by Boaz Davidson. It was originally called Be My Valentine or Else, and apparently had way more nudity in the first script. They dialed it back to get it released, but it still feels like a sleazy slasher set in a hospital.
Or slasher films.
They shot it in 18 days, on less than $1 million, and most of it was filmed in an actual abandoned hospital wing to save on building some sets.
Never really been big.
It became a cult classic on VHS, and Barbie Benton helped with that a lot. She was already a B-movie icon. The UK put it on the Video Nasties list, even though it's not even that violent compared to other stuff from the same era.
And
Night Beast is what happens when you mix aliens, laser rifles, and
they get a
DIY
pass.
filmmaking
I
on a
like
14
those
grand budget.
because it has a supernatural
An alien crash lands in
element.
Maryland and starts disintegrating random locals. The sheriff rounds up his tiny team to fight back, and things spiral into full-blown chaos. Love triangles, shootouts, people just getting vaporized left and right. This was directed by Don Dohler, total local legend. He made it with his friends, neighborhood actors, and actual police from the area. The alien suit started melting under the lights. Scenes were rewritten on the fly when actors didn't show up. And the laser effects were made by a teenage J.J. Abrams, way before he got famous. Abrams got paid $400 to handle the visuals and score.
Yeah,
the effects were all handmade. Latex masks, mini explosions, tinfoil spaceships. It's incredibly scrappy, but also weirdly charming. It didn't hit big in theaters, but on VHS, it became a fan favorite. Even Tarantino later said it was one of his go-to midnight movies.
Whatever. Who cares what
This
Tarantino
one kicks off with a meteor crashing and unleashing a giant slug alien. It burrows into a basement and starts chomping its way through a house full of people. The creature was wild, like a foam rubber lamprey with 3 jaws, and it was built in a garage in New Jersey using rubber cement, wires, and whatever else they had lying around.
Dude, don't waste your time.
They shot the movie for around $25,000.
It was terrible.
No real actors, just locals. No lighting rigs either.
Why
they used mirrors and aluminum foil to bounce sunlight into the basement scenes. For gore, it's cow intestines and buckets of fake blood, literally pumped by hand.
That movie was really bad.
But here's the thing. It worked.
There's cheesy good and then there's cheesy bad.
Fangoria gave it coverage. Fans kept it alive. And
I wouldn't even call that a B movie. I'd call that an F
16mm
movie.
print. The monster still holds up as one of the best low-budget creature effects of that whole VHS horror boom.
Don't waste your time.
Set in a post-apocalyptic future, this one's about survivors living in an underground bunker after biowarfare wipes out the surface.
This movie.
The real problem? A mutated creature gets inside and starts killing and impregnating people.
They've got like
George Kennedy shows up as a scientist, and Andrew Stevens plays the lead and co-wrote the script. It was made by Roger Corman's Concord Pictures for about $500,000.
That's why I would watch
it feels like it.
Roger
the monster
Corman.
Suit was rushed. Mostly leftover latex and Halloween masks stuck together. They couldn't afford real explosions, so they built miniature sets and lit them on fire in close-up shots.
Yeah, I know both of them actors.
The gore's over the top, the creature's ridiculous, and the whole movie is basically a grungy alien knockoff.
Yeah, but
it has its moments. It did okay on home video, especially overseas, and they made a sequel in 1991 that Stevens directed himself.
So I plan on watching that. I just haven't gotten around to it. Oh, is that it? Okay. You know, some of those seem alright. There's a couple of them I wouldn't bother watching. Again, his name is Junkyard, or his channel is called Junkyard Cinema. You can check him out if you want. Like I say, he's just a list channel. He lists some, not like a top 10, he just puts a compilation of movies and calls it something else. But anyways, check out his channel if you want to. He seems okay. It's not terrible. I've seen better list channels, but he's alright. Check it out if you want. That's all I have for you this week. He just kind of popped up on my suggestion page, so I went ahead and decided I'd watch one of his videos and share it with you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to go check out my other channel, and We'll see you on the next one.